versus Luton. There is always the chance, though, that you might be like, I'm not bothered, don't really care that much, to be honest. I'm trying to dodge it, really. No, there is the thing, right? How about our film expert, Victoria Luxford, is here with 3 film recommendations that you can watch instead of watching the football instead. So something in the cinema, at home, and something the whole family can enjoy. Morning, Victoria.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining me. Steering away from the football then this weekend, just in case it's not for you, what have you got for us instead?
My best of cinema this week is The Little Mermaid in cinemas Friday. It's a remake of the Disney classic about a mermaid princess who wants to live as part of our world.
Let's take a listen.
Ariel killed the prince yet?
Not kissed, you bird brain.
Poor child.
The Sea Witch?
What has your father told you about me?
You like to stir up trouble.
I'll make you human for 3 days.
Is that even possible?
It's what I do.
Now, Victoria, this film, there's been a lot of talk in this film and the build-up to it, the production. What can you tell us about it?
It's one of the string of live action remakes have happened in the last few years, in the last 10 years really. Things like Aladdin and The Lion King. They've been reimagining the, I suppose, Disney canon of hand-drawn animated films. I think families will really like this. Those Disney remakes, as I say, are like cover versions of songs in the music world. So don't expect it to reinvent the wheel. However, there are some really good casting decisions in there. I think Halle Berry, who you just heard there as Ariel, is good in the lead, and I thought Melissa McCarthy was fun as Ursula the villain, which is a very hard role to live up to. She's one of the more iconic Disney baddies, if you like, and she does very well here. As I say, very similar to the cartoon, but I think if you're a young viewer and an accompanying adult just looking for something that makes you feel like the cartoon did, you won't mind one bit.
Excellent. That sounds like a good one to go and see at the cinema. What have you got for us that we can watch at home?
My best of home is Pride and Prejudice on iPlayer now. It's the 2005 Jane Austen adaptation starring Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadyen as 2 very different people who are destined to be together.
Is he amiable?
Is he handsome? He's single.
I believe.
Oh my goodness! Everybody behave naturally!
Mr. Collins, at your service.
In an era when marrying a rich man was the most a woman could hope for, Elizabeth Bennet was way ahead of her time.
I singled you out as the companion of my future life.
Sir, I cannot accept you.
I have to say, it's one that passed me by the first time round when it was at cinemas. It sounds like it's quite comedic.
It really is, and I think are very accessible if you're worried that a Jane Austen film might be a little too dense or have preconceived ideas of what a Jane Austen adaptation might be. I think this makes, as I say, a very accessible experience, a lovely adaptation of something that has been remade numerous times. Of course, we all know the 90s BBC adaptation with Colin Firth, but it's the cast that make it what it is. Keira Knightley and Matthew McFadyen are brilliant, and there's an incredible supporting cast. Carey Mulligan in one of her younger roles, Rosamund Pike, Donald Sutherland. So yeah, a classic story told very well.
Excellent. That'll be a good one to watch. And then, we love a family classic in our household. What have you got for us?
My family classic is on Netflix now. It's the BFG. Steven Spielberg remakes the Roald Dahl classic about a young girl who makes friends with a big friendly giant.
It was the witching hour when the boogeyman comes out. The girls say the witching hour arrives at midnight. I think it comes at 3 in the morning, when I'm the only one left awake. Like now.
From that clip, I have to say, Victoria, it sounds a little bit more sinister than the Roald Dahl version that I remember. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it does from that clip, but I think as a whole, the movie itself is very family friendly. Got to remember, Roald Dahl stories really do mix that kind of slightly scary aspect with the more cuddly, family-friendly aspects. They sort of intertwine quite well. Got to remember things like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, that slightly scary bit in the tunnel during the night, the Gene Wilder adaptation of the movie. There is a little bit of edge to Roald Dahl stories, but I don't think that's a bad thing in a family movie. And I really like this. It's largely remembered as a disappointment because it didn't do well at the box office. I think the first Steven Spielberg movie to not do so well, but I thought it was really well done and a bit overlooked for me personally. Mark Rylance is really great as the BFG, and Steven Spielberg really captures the vivid world of Roald Dahl, the darkness and the light, as we say. Well worth checking out.
Yeah, I'm surprised it didn't do well at the box office because, yeah, it's a great movie, that one. Really good. Thank you, Victoria. Some great film suggestions as always. That's our film expert, Victoria Luxford, with our 3 recommendations that you can watch instead of the football. If you're all, though, about the Sky Blues, well, you know what you need, don't you? You need a Sky Blues playoff playlist.